Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my channel, TV-DICTION, where we talk about all my latest TV obsessions. As you can tell from the title, we'll be discussing the mid-season finale for Season 3 of Zatima. I am aware that the mid-season finale premiered almost a month ago, and the second half is about a month away too, because I believe it's premiering December 26th. However, I never got it out, so I decided I'm still going to put it out, and hopefully you guys tune in. Now let's dive into episode 9. The episode picks up with the continuation of Zach's crash out towards Jeremiah in Belinda's apartment after the shots rang out. The commentary with everybody on the ground after the shots rang out was actually pretty funny. I know it's probably supposed to be a serious moment, but that came out funny as hell, especially when Angela yelled out, "There's a crackhead with a gun. Someone call the police." I nearly fell out. That was just too funny. I really don't understand why Zach was so upset that Jeremiah ultimately defended himself against him. Like, is the man supposed to just let you come up there and beat him up? Like, come on now. Like, you should have expected something crazy to that effect. Don't be mad now that he shot at you when your intention was to literally go there and beat the daylights out of him. Be so for real right now. Zach not heeding to Fatima's ultimatum when she says, "Zach, I mean it, it's this or us," and still choosing to run up those stairs really pissed me off, because I don't think someone could be so blinded by rage that you fail to see that you're jeopardizing the very thing that you're fighting for. You're fighting to defend Fatima's honor while not taking into account her feelings about all of this. It really just doesn't make sense to me. Fatima was right in that moment to walk away from him. I agree with her. If this is how Zach chooses to crash out at everything, she doesn't have to stick around and watch him self-destruct. Especially if they have a child on the way. Not to mention, he already has a child he's not even considering. By the way, where is baby Michael? How is baby Michael not made an appearance for 10 episodes on Zatima, but he's appearing on Sisters? Like, it's not making sense at all. Like, while Zach and Fatima are literally gallivanting, the hood, chasing Jeremiah, where the hell is baby Michael? Who is watching baby Michael? I do low-key feel some type of sad for Belinda, with Jeremiah stealing her money and stuff, but not too bad for her, because this may be her karma for being such a shitty person, Now, Preston, I thought you weren't going to be discussing business with Bryce without Zach. Now, how you end up at Rise Ventures doing just that, huh? Do not let Bryce jeopardize the trust that Zach have in you right now. Please. Can somebody please teach Bryce how to read the room? Because clearly Zach was not in the mood at that moment. He asked you to give him a minute, and you over here trying to view the contract and then trying to bring your feelings and trying to apologize to him. Like, just give the man the minute he asked for. Damn. Bryce, damn well you didn't overhear anything. You was purposefully ear hustling on their conversation. While I can admit the call to Dr. Reed was probably a smart idea, I also don't think that it was Bryce's place to air Zach's business out like that. What if he didn't want Preston to know that he was in therapy yet? But here you go, just meddling your nose in business that doesn't concern you. Like, be so for real, Bryce. Please, somebody teach him how to read the effing room. Now, what the hell is Angela's boy toy Sean doing at Deja's party? That was like random AF. And honestly, Deja should have listened to Angela's warning. She really should have. But I hate to say this, really hate to say this, but Fatima was dead wrong the way she crashed out at Deja. Like, Fatima girl, how the hell are we mad at Zach because he out here spazzing out on his brother, and then you turn around and do the same thing to Deja? We can't hold Zach to a standard that you're not willing to abide by. Because in this moment, there's no difference from what Zach did at Belinda's apartment versus what Fatima did at Deja's place. I guess this was just a further segment that Zach and Fatima are just two sides of the same coin. Like, is nobody worried about the well-being of this unborn child? We out here worrying about Zach stressing you and the baby out, and you out here crashing out too, and not considering the baby either. Like, I didn't like this at all, not one bit. One thing that I really like that was said by Dr. Reed was when he told Zach, I don't let my past dictate the answers to my now. I think that is something we all can keep in mind when navigating certain situations that may trigger responses from our past selves and not from the standpoint of who we evolved to be. Just because the situation evoked that response does not mean we have to follow through with it. Because if we respond in that manner, then that throws away all the work we've done to, be removed from those past qualities. So, Dr. Reed ate with that one. He did. And rightfully so, Dr. Reed reminds Zach that he for sure has Fatima to lose. He want to talk about he has nothing to lose. No, the life you built and the life that you want to build with your fiance, your unborn child, and the son that you have now, that is at stake here. You can lose all of that. Like, did you forget about that? Did you forget about baby Michael? Like, what's going to happen to him if you end up locked up? Fatima ain't got no claims over him. That means what? He going to end up back with Heather? Like, you're not even thinking about the son you have now, let alone your unborn child. Be so for real. You have a lot to lose. And I know Dr. Reed, said he was off the clock and all. But when Zach said that he has no idea what he's going to do because, he just get mad thinking about the situation, shouldn't his therapist training kicked in and provided Zach with some options to help him redirect that energy? Like, okay, if you find yourself getting that upset, find another outlet, go golfing, go to the batting cages, something. Like, he could have gave the man some type of option to release that or redirect that energy instead of telling him, just remember you are in control and not him. That does not help him at all whatsoever. Angela been screaming love shouldn't be this hard from season 1 at Fatima, okay? When are you going to listen, Fatima? Because, baby, no one should be going through all of this in the name of love. Love really shouldn't be that hard. Fatima was dead wrong for coming at Angela like that. I'm going to blame it on the fact that she was just overwhelmed with all her emotions. But that was wrong as hell. And her doubling down, talking about, y'all always have something to say, but none of y'all have a man. Boo! Tomatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. People in relationships really like to throw the fact that their friends are single in their faces just to justify all the BS that they're tolerating in the name of quote unquote love. Like, oh, you never been in love, so you don't know how it is. You've been single for a long time. You don't know what it takes to be in a committed relationship, blase, soise. But it's like, you don't need to be in a relationship to know that someone who loves you shouldn't put you in situations like this. You're using your love for that person as a clutch to not be real with yourself about how really messed up all this is, okay? And honestly, Angela is better than me, baby, because the minute Fatima would have said, but none of y'all have a man, I would have been like, okay, say less. I would have got up and walked out the door, and Fatima wouldn't have to ever worry about me putting my 2 cents in her business ever again. I wouldn't have asked her to elaborate on nothing. You hear me? I would have just got up and walked away. She wouldn't have to worry about me. You ain't got to worry about me. The ending scene between Zach and Fatima really shows that they are hearing each other, but they aren't actually listening to each other. Both of them are failing to see the other's point of view to get over this hump or this miscommunication, whatever is going on right now. They're definitely not on the same page and they're not seeing it at all. Zach was really going for blood the way he was wailing on Jeremiah. Overkill to the max. You can tell that fight wasn't about just, Jeremiah hitting Fatima. All that pent up aggression that Zach had about his childhood, about Jeremiah, about going to jail, about Miss Gladys dying, he unleashed all of that on Jeremiah. That was way more about all of that than it was of Fatima getting pushed up against that car. Zach. Just shaking my head, honestly. You don't get no cool points. You don't get no brownie points. And you for sure do not get no respect for beating the daylights out of someone who was too out of it to even fight back. That was just pitiful. Now, why would Zach toss Connie off of him like that? Like, that was actually hilarious, low-key. But that scene with Nathan and Tony pinning Zach down and him, like, screaming out of frustration and stuff, I feel like they wanted that to feel more intense than it was actually portrayed to be. Because I was watching it like, sir, what are we doing here? He looked more like a toddler throwing a tantrum more than anything else. And I'm over here screaming at my TV like, Zach, if you don't get your ass up and compose yourself, look and just dump on that floor. Like, come on now. And him spitting on Jeremiah was definitely ODing it. Like, please get the F on. You already did the damage. That was completely unnecessary. Like, that was not needed. It was not called for. Listen, I'm with Angela. I would play steep too. But I am glad that Fatima was able to recognize that she did hurt Angela's feelings and then went to apologize. Looking at all the BS that Fatima has been going through due to Zach, it really brings up the question, is love really enough to act blind to all of the bullshit? Like, is it sufficient enough to have you going through the ringer like this? Like, unnecessary drama at every twist and turn. Like, is love enough for that? Because, like Angela said, we don't deny that Zach loves Fatima. But Fatima is having to work overtime to keep him out of trouble and remain a good guy. Like, that is just too much to put on yourself in the name of love. I am sorry. It's too much. I hate to say this, but Deja's complaint is actually valid this time. Like, Fatima really spazzed out on her for no reason. And for real, what kind of landlord is Zach? Like, your tenant is coming with a valid complaint. I know she your wife, but damn, at least pretend to care or something. And if she was to actually call the police on Fatima, she wouldn't be wrong. Didn't Zach see when Fatima walked out the door? Or am I tripping? Why is he shocked that she left? She literally walked out in front of him. I must be tripping, right? Or no? Or is this just discrepancies within editing? I am so glad that they stopped covering Jasmine's pregnancy with grocery bags. The coat and big pajamas are much better. Now, Zach, so if you don't feel better after doing it, what was the point of it? And I agree with Tony. That was not all about Fatima. Zach really was just releasing all that built up emotions that, he had regarding his childhood, regarding Miss Gladys' death, and, all that came with the way he was living before. Like, he really was unleashing some serious type of hurt on Jeremiah. And it was way deeper than just Fatima getting hit. Tony really be spitting sometimes, okay? He really be onto some things because he was stating straight facts when he said two people could be in the same place and have completely different experiences. That is literally the God's honest truth, especially when it comes to siblings, because although raised by the same parents or parent in the same household, siblings can have vastly different experiences and outcomes in life, especially because no two siblings get the same version of their parents, because depending on where that parent was when the child was born is what dictates the version that they get. So one may have gotten a more healed parent while one got one that was just trying to figure out her shit. So two siblings growing up in the same house for sure does not get the same parents. And they all can experience different circumstances within that same household and through the same parent. Like, Tony really be onto some things. Deja Boo, if the police have you on hold that long, they not coming. They are not coming. Please hang it up. That scene with Nathan and Connie where he caught those slipping braids was so unnecessary. Like, what was the point of that? Like, we did not need to see them two braids falling out of Connie's head. Be so for real, Tyler, please. But in retrospect, Zach got some good ones on his team. Tony, Connie, and as much as it pains me to say this, even Nathan's ass, okay? I still don't know what his one-sided beef with Fatima's all about, but Connie was spitting some real shit when she said to Nathan, if he loves her, we have to love her because we love him. Because that's the truth. How can you say you love Zach or have a love for Zach, but is refusing to love or even get to know the woman he loves or the love of his life? They're a package deal now. And if you're saying you have love for Zach, you're going to ultimately have to have a love for Fatima, especially knowing the way she's holding him down. Like, please drop this beef. Connie was also right in calling him out about whatever he got going on with Belinda's behind and bringing up Lori and the kids because, like, sir, did you really forget? You have a whole family out here for real. And Nathan, you are the common denominator in all these girls going crazy. So you're the problem, okay? Maybe Zach need to pass on Dr. Reed's number to Nathan so he can figure his shit out, honestly. And no lie, hopefully Jeremiah isn't really dead and all those nurses and doctors running to his room was just a scare and not something permanent, because although I know that Zach is upset at Jeremiah, I don't think he could live with himself if he was to be the cause of his brother's death. Especially still dealing with the fact that their mother just died. I don't think Zach could live with himself. So hopefully Jeremiah pulls through for real. I really hate the fact that Fatima sowed that seed of insecurity, into Angela. So much so that she called Bryce to confirm, the validity to that. Because honestly, I don't see nothing wrong with the way that Angela is maneuvering around her dating life. She is literally living as a single woman and doing what single women do. And that is okay. That is perfectly fine. What that saying go, you do have to kiss a couple of frogs before you find your prince. It didn't say you got to kiss one frog and that becomes your prince. No, you have to go through a couple of frogs before you find the right one. And Angela is doing just that. And there's nothing wrong with that, honestly. Deja. Now, why you keep antagonizing Fatima like that? You literally didn't have to speak to her. You could have gotten in your car and kept it pushing, but no, you want to call out and start talking smack. But she was hella stupid for saying it ain't that big when Fatima said fat ass while she was describing herself. Deja a fool for real. I don't even know why Fatima called Tony because, girl, Zach went and found Jeremiah. He wasn't going to stop until he did. Dang, Zach. And this is exactly what Fatima was trying to prevent. And your ass just wouldn't listen. And now you're headed to jail. Just said, F your future and your family. I'm literally over here just shaking my head. And I really hated that it ended at a cliffhanger, with him just getting arrested like that. But, December 26th is about to be around the corner soon. So we don't have to wait that long to find out what happened. Especially since they did leak episode 11 like a few weeks ago. And on that note, to BET Plus, when Zatima returned for the second half of season 3, please make sure you have your shit in order, okay? Because with this first half, y'all was messing up. We had an episode leak too early. Then episode 9 wasn't properly loading when it first premiered. Like, please stop playing with Zatima for real and get that shit in order. You have a whole month. Get it together. Also, I dislike how I was disagreeing with Fatima this whole entire first half of the season. I'm hoping that changes comes the second half, okay? I do not want to be disagreeing with my girl anymore, okay? We did that for 10 episodes straight now. We don't need 10 more of that. Once again, I know this is hella late, but down in the comments, let me know your thoughts on the mid-season finale for season 3. Until next time, thank you for watching.